All right, welcome everyone to this Thursday night's edition of Southern Woods and Waters. And Andrew, let's widen that right quick. We want to introduce Bill Merrick with All Pro Rods,
Thanks,
fine
Hugh.
connoisseur of fine catchability on the fish.
I can do that sometimes.
You can do that. You
I
can
can
do
do
that.
that,
And Joy has graced us with her visitation tonight. And we need to say happy birthday to Kristen. She thought I was kidding when I said, "Hang on, Kristen, we're gonna sing happy birthday to you."
We're gonna sing.
No, I'm kidding about that part.
Yeah, I don't know if he was kidding, but I'm sure not.
Andrew's back there ready to bleep everything.
But happy birthday.
But happy birthday, Kristen Priso. She does an awesome
so
job.
So pretty. I love her new hair.
Very tiny. She's
tiny.
teeny. You almost want to put her in your pocket.
Hugh, we could.
Yeah, we could. But hey, let me tell you what we got going on for you tonight. First off, I have to apologize to the audience. We had a film. Bill Merrick and I went out on Old Hickory Lake, and we were going to do a great film, and it was an outstanding film. We watched Bill prepare for a tournament, and I just nitpicked him to death. But I was asking him all kinds of questions. Bill, why are you doing that? Why are you standing that way? All kinds of questions. Stuff that I thought you might like to know. Except for that one move. I haven't figured out that one move you made.
Move caught a fish.
but we had some technical difficulties, so we didn't get it done. But Bill graciously said, let's do the show. The show must go on. Right. So I thought, why don't we sit here? Bill has come out, and if you haven't fished an all-pro rod, you haven't fished, because all fishing is being able to feel that bump or that jerk or that, because I'm a typical fisherman. I'm one jerk waiting on another jerk. but that sensitive little jerk, those sensitive little nibbles that you get every now and then when that fish just sucks it in, you can feel it with All Pro rods. And I promise you, I'm not leading you on, because I've used all kinds of rods, from ugly sticks to everything else out there, not even pretty sticks. But All Pro rod has increased my catch ratio tremendously. And anybody that has ever used one will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good rods on the market, but and primarily there's reasons behind.
But I like Tennessee.
Absolutely.
I like Tennessee,
and I'm partial to All Pro rods, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But there's reasons why they are like that, and that sensitivity is that way.
And first off, let me tell you something. Bill Merrick did not start All Pro rods. Bill fished All Pro rods and thought enough about them to buy the company. So that ought to tell you about how you feel about them.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely do feel strongly about them. There was a lot of great, attributes to those rods during the time that I fished them, and we've enhanced some of those and made them better.
You sure have, and that's what we're going to debut tonight. Bill and Don have come out with All Pro Rod Elite Series now. And we want to show you, if you have not been able to see them, we're going to give you the availability to see them tonight, because they are fantastic. I asked him, I said, bring some specialty rods. He's got like a Carolina rig rod. A lot of people fish Carolina rigs. I think they fish them with too stiff a rod.
Absolutely.
I really do. I think that when they do the sweep to set the hook, that it doesn't have enough give to it to actually set the hook. It kind of jerks the bait out of their mouth.
And a lot of people fish with too short of a rod for a Carolina rod.
Right.
You're trying to pick up a lot of line many times, because a lot, where that fish is in relationship to the weight, you don't know. You don't know.
That's
you
right.
may have to pick up only a couple feet of line, or you may have to pick up 5-6 foot of line. So we made it in a 7/6 rod length, so you can sweep a lot more if you need to, and then the tip is soft enough that if it is a short set, that you're not
going to break the rod.
Yeah, you're not going to break the rod.
And that happens, Bill. That happens, but I'm going to tell you something. It happens with All Pro rods, but it happens with every and any manufacturer tells you their rods doesn't break, run from, because that's not the truth. They all do. It's according to who's fishing, who's setting it. You tell me I set the hook too hard.
You are a man of hook set ability. There's no question.
There's no doubt.
They're either coming or something's going.
Or sometimes they fly completely out of the water.
I've seen them rocket ship.
But I promise you, there's no doubt about it. When I set the hook, it's there.
Yeah. Yep.
But I've been all my life, Bill. I've been what I consider a power fisherman, and I've been noticing that the trend here lately for fishing is getting kind of away from that, going more to the finesse type stuff. The specialty stuff, the swim baits, in throwing drop shots and that kind of thing.
Well, and specialty rods, I mean, just as much as, a good rod transmits, bites better and things like that, a specialty rod gets you to the point of having something enhanced in it for that particular technique. There's different reasons, that you have lighter tips and backbones in different areas of rods. Swim bait rods are very soft, forgiving. We have our 8-foot swim bait tonight with us, which that rod has the tab is really low on the rod, which means the tip is really soft. So when a fish comes up behind it to grab it, it allows that fish time to get it in, and that tip bends a little bit before and you can start to actually see the fish biting.
Right.
Before you go and set the hook, and a real stiff rod many times will pull the bait away from the fish.
And using let's because swim baits have really come on. I believe in the last 3 or 4 years, swim baits really
catch a lot of big fish.
They catch a lot of big fish.
Yeah.
And it does matter that they're throwing from. I've seen 1.5 inch swim baits to 12, 14 inches long swim baits. It's according to where you're fishing, not here in Old Hickory, but they use them in California and places like that. But, okay. Bill uses them all the time. You may fish for those 5-pounders, but
I'm tickled to death that you're coming out with new rods so I can get me some new hand-me-downs.
There you go.
New hand-me-downs.
I get used all
You get the used ones?
Yeah. Man's
I'll
got
get you some.
Good.
I'm trying to win that toy race.
Yeah, I started to fish, and I said, can I use that? That's my favorite. I said, well, can I use that one right there? Well, I like that one almost as much as I do that one. I'm like,
I can't help it.
You plan on breaking it?
Well, no.
He broke 6 of my old pro rods. He fell on them.
Yeah, I did. I fell on them. But that's a different.
I got them fixed. Bill got them fixed.
But the thing is, swim baits have come on, and you're right. Swim bait is not like I don't believe it's a reactionary strike so much as I believe it's a hunger strike. And you have to have a different rod for that.
Yeah, and there's different times. I mean, there's different ways of presenting a swim bait too. I mean, you can reel it really fast and stop it and drop it, and then it's a reaction bite. Or you can just barely creep it on the bottom, and you can feel them picking it up, much like a slow roll on a spinner bait or something like that. And a lot of a swim bait is a lot like a spinner bait. The way you fish it.
The way you fish it.
It's kind of a replacement or an addition, enhancement to the spinner bait. So.
Okay. So, well, I tell you what, we're going to take a break and visit some of our fine sponsors so we can pay the bills here. But I tell you what, when we come back, we're going to get in depth with some of these rods. We're going to actually show you the Elite Series and start talking about why you need to choose an all-pro rod. Hurry back to more of Southern Woods and Waters. This segment is being brought to you by Stan Sloan Zora Bait Company, where setting the hook is an everyday thing. This segment is being brought to you by Fate Sanders Marina. Come by and check out the jewel of Percy Priest Lake. All right, this week's Picture of the Week is being brought to you by Flowers Deer Processing. Let me tell you something, it is youth season in Tennessee this weekend, so Flowers is going to be swamped come Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I'm telling you. All right, our first picture here, this is a first place at Mike and Nina Boland's tournament out there on Percy Priest. First place is Dave and Jesse Rigsby, 14.97 pounds, and they had first place big fish at a 4.70. Good job there. Then second place was Brandon Eddings and Dane Gamble with a 14.44 pounds, and they had a second place big fish with a 4.32 pound largemouth. Third place, our good buddies Larry Holland, Randy Hargis had 11.02 pounds. They even look cute together. And then fourth place was Michael Lambert and Melvin Farless with 10.62 pounds. Good job there. Awesome fish. I'd take that steak just about any time. Hey, you can send your pictures to us here at Southern Woods and Waters, 474 James Robinson Parkway, Nashville, Tennessee, 373 219. Thank you, Andrew. You'd think after about 10 years I'd know that. I get confused sometimes, but thank you so much. Hey, we got a lot of pictures coming in with deer, and one big giant, I understand, was taken over by Camp Boxwell. An 8-pointer that scored like 161 and 2/8. An 8-pointer. We're going to have that on here. And then Gordy, that was on here from Night Rifles, his niece just killed a nice, her first big buck, and we're going to show it next week also. So if you get those big bucks, and she got hers with a bow.
Or doe.
Or doe. Send them in here, kids. You got to send those pictures in to us, and let's share them with everybody. But that is this weekend. That is the youth-only hunt. And you might be asking yourselves, why am I wearing the orange cap? The orange cap, ladies and gentlemen, you have to have 500 square inches on your chest, at least 500 square inches on your chest, and you have to have an orange, blaze orange hunter's cap at all times when you leave the truck to when you come back to the truck. At all times that you're in the woods, okay? So make sure you have, the adult has to, and the kid has to. Right. And remember, excuse me, if it is a child that you're carrying with you, that gun that you're allowing them to take, you have to be able to take possession immediately. If something goes wrong or their aim is off or something like that, you have to maintain a quick response and maintain that weapon
control
of that weapon real fast.
Give me that gun, I'll shoot it.
Yeah. It's like when Bill was trying to catch that big bass. Give me that rod, Bill. I'll have to get him in.
Yeah,
take it right out of your hands.
Yeah, he was fishing a lot when we were filming.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
really?
up?
He said, I just got to film. I didn't get to film.
I did film mainly. I did film mainly.
Okay.
I did.
I'm taking
all
notes.
of Drake's Creek was filmed. I didn't actually fish till we got out of there.
We were in there about 10 minutes.
Yeah, about 10 minutes. But now Bill, Bill, this is my show. Talk to us though. Now you just got through talking about a swim bait rod, so let's hit it first because I want people to see. Because what I like about the swim bait rod is the long. I guess that's
it's
mine.
real long.
I guess that's mine.
We won't break them doing that.
No, but the long handle.
Yeah.
And why did you make such a long handle on it?
Once again, on this rod, you're looking for that length.
Right.
You're trying to get that 8-foot, and this is an 8-foot rod, and you're going to put a lot of it in handle. Obviously, when you're fishing this rod, you're throwing those big, heavy swim baits.
Oh, yeah.
You want to be able to get that right down in here.
Yeah.
And get control. And when you set that hook, you want to be able to put it up against your side.
Okay.
So that's why the long handle.
Okay.
Okay. Now, and you're probably not looking for the accuracy so much in this rod. No. You're out usually fishing open water ledges, down the.
Yeah, you're not throwing beside.
You're looking for distance.
Yeah, you're not throwing beside a log or.
Right. So the 8-foot rod with the soft tip gives you a lot of distance, and you're trying to get that bait way out there, get it down in the strike zone, keep it there as long as possible. You're usually paralleling your ledges or your banks or whatever you're fishing to wherever the biggest fish are. Now,
what is the difference? Because I want to ask you, because I use All Pro rods exclusively. What is this one different from the blaster? I mean, and the blaster we use for crankbaits, DD22s and fat-free shads and all those, and Strike Kings. And getting them really out there, what's the difference between it and that?
The blaster has the tab, and when I speak of a tab, in this rod there is a place where this rod will bend. When you go to put pressure on it.
Right.
And that tab comes down a lot farther on the crankbait rod, so there's much more leniency in the tip, much softer tip for distance. You're
getting that whipping motion a little bit more in a blaster.
In our blasters, we've had a 7.7 and a 7.10, and we've even come out now for 2013 with a 7.11. And the 7.11, we've actually moved the tab down further and softened the tip some more. It's for that strolling and long distance.
I like that.
Crankbait throwing, the big hot lips. And
what's the point of doing that? I see guys doing that, and they push it down like that.
Yeah, and when you're pushing it down, you can see where the rod bends, and you can see how parabolic this one is, which means it has a very slow tip. A fast tip would break very early. but you can see how this is more parabolic.
So tell me what that means.
A slower tip is going to give you a much more parabolic bend in the rod. In other words, it's going to be more even overall the rod. And that's usually for trying to get distance, longer casts. You'll get a lot of whip in the rod,
Okay.
you know, to launch something a long distance. It also, like we talked about earlier on the swim bait rod, which this is, it gives that fish, it bends very easy. So when the fish picks up on that bait, as you're slowly swimming it along, it gives it time to draw it in.
Can you tell easier on one?
Absolutely.
You
Well, you
can?
can see it. You can see how much, you know, how easy that bends.
See, I like the shorter rods myself.
And absolutely. And there's, you know, we have rods that are in that same category of, you know, action in shorter rods, you know, for people that, you know, want a shorter rod.
Yeah.
But I want to work on her, Bill, this next season for more of the longer rods, because she doesn't understand that the longer rods are going to give her more distance.
Well, there is, a, you know, like we talked about earlier, there are specifics to this rod that makes fishing that type of bait easier.
Mm-hmm.
And the length in this is what does it. And although it's maybe slightly uncomfortable at first, once you get used to it, the rod is still very light.
Well, it's not heavy.
yeah.
It's just I don't have the strength
seems-
to throw like y'all do.
It seems cumbersome, but in actuality, it's helping you throw a farther distance. You don't have to throw it as hard.
Okay.
That's
This-
what we're trying to
Yeah,
tell you.
if you over try to throw one of these rods, it really doesn't help any.
Mm-mm.
And that's the great thing about the blaster is everybody's out there trying to, you know,
Oh, yeah.
whip that rod as hard as they can whip it, and they're not getting any more distance.
No, you're
I
not
can take-
gaining anything.
That rod does the work. And
Mhm.
if you're overworking the rods that you have to keep that same distance, you probably need to get a
I
blaster.
think it's now stop me if I'm wrong, because my thing is I believe that the whipping motion, letting the bait load up on the rod, is what gets it the distance.
Absolutely.
It's not the strength of how fast you can throw it out there, it's how you load up. So it's how far back you can bring it back to where it can load
And-
and then send it.
And once again, specifically, that rod is set up for the bigger crankbaits
Right.
that are in that 1/2 to 3/4 ounce range.
Yeah,
and
you're
they
not
load-
going to throw a 3/16 medium running
No,
crankbait.
you're not
with
going
it.
to throw a 100 bandit on it.
Or a square bill. You're not going to
Right.
throw that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not designed for that. And we have rods designed for that.
That's right.
And they have, you know, and they're shorter
They are. They're,
because you're not going to load them that much.
No, you got the 7.2 medium cranking. That's the ones I would choose.
Yep.
For throwing square bills. That's the one that I use for throwing my square bills. But the swim bait and the blaster have the specific, and that's what they're designed for.
It is, and that's the thing that, you know, a lot of people don't understand is you go buy a rod and it feels great and it looks great and all that is wonderful, but when you go to try to do something when it just doesn't work right,
It doesn't work right.
you've got to know what you're purchasing, whether it's an All Pro or another rod or whatever it is. Make sure you're trying to purchase it in the range of specificness of what you want to use it
Yeah,
for.
'cause I
you know,
don't
you don't want to get a real heavy rod for throwing a very light bait.
And you don't want to use a swim bait for a Carolina rig.
No.
No.
No. Even though a swim bait has some of the
it could
has,
do it,
has some
but
of those,
it's not
right. It's not
it's not
designed for it.
specifically designed for that.
Right.
And you're more likely to do damage to the rod if you do. And it might not be immediate.
Sure.
But over time, if you consistently do it, can cause damage.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to throwing a 3/4 ounce bait on a medium heavy rod,
Yep.
it's not designed for that.
It's not designed for
Yeah,
it.
and I mean, you know,
And I don't think people read the numbers and all that and really go by that, Bill. I think a lot of people just say, man, I got an All Pro rod, I like it, and, you know, I use everything on it.
We go by the color. You have any pink ones?
no, we don't.
Leave mine alone.
But yeah,
You have blue.
we could
I know
make
that.
it though.
Yeah.
But I think people would get better results if they would just study the numbers a little bit and stick within the guidelines that the manufacturer suggests.
Right, and this, like we talked about, is for throwing big baits.
Yeah.
This is 3/4 to 2.5 ounce. is
what?
3/4 to 2.5 ounce is what's this is specified for.
That's awesome.
17 to 40 pound line.
Goodness.
So I mean, it's for
slinging a big bait.
for throwing big baits and catching big fish.
All right. Hey, we got to go now to our product of the week. This week's product of the week is being brought to you by Gateway Tire and Service Center. We sell tires for the way you drive. All right, welcome back. And the one thing I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fad now going on for about a little over a year now, but it's called a GoPro camera. This is the Hero 2. They're fixing it November 14th. They're coming out with a Hero 3. But this is a great way for you to get that memory insurance through video and pictures. We're rigging up our boat now to handle 2 or 3 of these at one time. To where I can fish with you, Bill, and I don't have to be doing the camera anymore. I can actually fish with you, and we'll catch footage of that. And it's a great thing. They're not that expensive of a camera either. They're much like just a little bit higher than what you would pay for, say, a game camera.
Yeah, video camera.
Or video camera. They're new. They range from about $190 to about $240. So great camera. This one is designed to go underwater, and it will go down to 60 feet underwater, which is pretty amazing.
Good.
So I can actually
check
I can see the fish before you hook him.
Well, good. You can start checking out my swim bait.
I'll start checking out your swim bait. All right. I tell you what, we got to take a break. When we come back, we got more rods to talk about. So hurry back with more of Southern Woods and Water. This segment is being brought to you by Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife. All right, you can call us here at 737-7767, area code 615, with any questions you may have. We open up the phone lines now. And by the way, you need to take advantage because Bill Merrick is an awesome fisherman, and he can answer just pretty much any questions you got going down the pike. So try and stump Bill. Come on, make the calls and try to stump Bill. Hey, but Bill, I tell you what, we got the swim bait rod I love. But like I said, the blaster, I really love the blaster. Now I'm glad that you've come out with an 8-foot.
711.
I mean a 711.
Yeah.
But that's close enough. I mean,
it is close.
That's close.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that much more, Bill. We could have called it 8.
1 inch made that much difference.
Just that much more. But you also came out with a micro guide.
We did, and I'm gonna tell you what, I was very impressed with that rod overall. Plus, it has sold really well.
Why a micro guide? Well, tell me, what is the purpose of them?
Look how tiny the eyes are.
Yeah.
Well, what we've noticed in the casting is that the line stays much straighter between the guides, and you don't have as much slap on the blank.
When you got a micro guide?
Yes, because it's more controlled within the guide, and they cast a little further. Yeah,
well, that slapping causes drag, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anytime you get on the blank with your line, you're going to have. In the micro guides, you have a lot more guides, as you can see on this rod. You know, there's a lot more than your regular guides, and they control that line very uniformly throughout the cast. Okay. And they cast further.
You got a bunch of calls.
We got a bunch of calls. So everybody wants to stump Bill tonight. So Terry, how can we help you tonight?
Pretty good. I enjoy y'all's show. I've done some real fancy rods y'all got there.
These are nice, aren't they?
I've got a hunting question. I've been kind of curious about this.
Okay.
I've got 30 acres in the country that we visit on the weekends.
Yeah.
And I've got some guys, they come in 4 o'clock in the morning, they're hunting probably when time I get there. And usually they're gone by the time I get there.
Yeah.
Do I need to wear wear an orange hat and a vest when I'm just just on the weekend?
I would.
Are you just talking about bow hunting?
I'm off in the woods and I hear all kind of gunshots. I don't want to get shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, it's the rule of thumb I like to use is better safe than sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
If I know some people are down there hunting and they've got rifles or
even bows,
semi-automatic, whatever the case may be, bows. There's a lot of people get shot by bows.
We have a friend.
I'd wear my hunter orange.
I would too.
Yeah, I don't. I got one person I give permission, but you know how these guys are. Just go up in the woods and they get in and get out of there.
Yep.
Them bullets don't have no eyes on them.
No, and once they're released and they go through that muzzle, there's no pulling them back.
That's true too. And one more question.
Sure.
How long does the gun season last?
Well, now the gun season is going to start right before Thanksgiving. Modern gun starts right before Thanksgiving, and it goes all through the year, through the rest of the year. And so you're going to have an opportunity to bow hunt at the end because it kind of shuts down. But Tennessee's changed a little bit now that we got the muzzleloaders fixing to start. There's 2 weeks of muzzleloader, including it's 3 weekends. It's 3 weekends and actually 2 sets of 5 weekdays. But that's the muzzleloader season. So they instead of having a split season like they used to, it's all one now. So we're going from bow, crossbow, muzzleloader, rifle carries us right on through, and then I think the last weekend, which they call the juvenile weekend or the youth only hunt at the end, you can actually go bow hunt some other areas like Land Between the Lakes and stuff like that.
Okay. So it's going to be through the end of December then, right?
Yeah, it's a little past. It goes into January, first part of January.
Guide on the on your website.
But you can go through the website, Southern Woods and Waters, and check out the guide there. We've got the guide listed, so that'll help you out right there.
Okay, y'all have a great night. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
All right.
And Eddie, how can we help you tonight?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
We're doing great.
Man, y'all guys got a great show there. Those are some real good looking rods right there.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, those legs right there are even better. I'll tell you.
Now watch it. She's the CEO of this show now.
And she's got money too.
And the CFO.
Yeah.
When are those? I use spinnerbait a lot.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
with a rod like that, and when the fish go real deep, here in about a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How does the reflection on that rod work with that spinnerbait going deep water when it's cold out? And I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Eddie. We'll answer your question.
A spinnerbait, there's some deep ledge fishing that goes on later on in the summer, August.
Yep.
September, October, you can get into it a little bit where they start to get deep enough where you put a big trailer on the back, they get chasing yellowtail stripe. And if you can slow roll a 1 ounce with a big willow leaf on it, many times you can get into some really good fishing and some really good schools of fish. But that spinnerbait kind of starts to die off when you get into November, December, and the deep winter fishing is probably better with spoons and smaller drop shots and things like that because they're looking for that smaller
Jerk
meal
baits.
once that water temperature starts to drop into the 50s.
But what kind of rod what he's asking, what kind of rod would you use?
And the deep spinner baiting, I like 7-foot rod, and then the medium heavy to a heavy for the 1 ounce. The 1 ounce, the big spinner bait, I like that heavy, the 7-foot heavy.
Okay.
And our rods run a little lighter than the average probably actions that you would see.
All right. Well, we hope that helps. Let me see it rod for a minute. They say it's blocking your face. I said, how did he get his face behind that? All right. Well, thank you very much for that call. And we got 3. And Bill, how can we help you? Bill? Hello? All right. We're going to let that one go. And Cameron, how can we help you tonight?
Hi, I'm pretty new to Tennessee, and I fish Percy Priest Lake a lot, and the recent amount of weeds has me perplexed. I think there should be a lot of fish in these weeds, and there really aren't. They're mostly small ones, but it's going to change the fishing in Tennessee, or Percy Priest, I should say.
He's having the same problem that everybody's having.
Yeah, and I think what's happened is, because the lake stayed so low so long this year, we had some growth up on that shorelines, and when the water came up later in the year, everybody looked at that and said, that looked like
fish ought to be there.
Yeah, it looked like Okeechobee or something.
Yeah.
Well, that just wasn't the case. The fish didn't change to, adapt to that. Maybe down the, if they winter through it and stuff and then maybe adapt. But
if it's there in the spring,
I mean,
that might make a difference.
It might. They might migrate to that, especially
Yes.
if that starts to heat up a little bit in the rocks and things like that.
That's right.
But it did not make any difference this
It's
summer.
slow too. Everybody's telling us slow.
Well, and it looked like the weights picked up a little bit Saturday on,
Yeah.
from some of the way in there. And
Yep.
I'm hoping it's good because I'm going there tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, a lot of the things that we were seeing out there at Priest is that a lot of guys like to flip and pitch to those big crevices in the rocks, and they got filled up with those weeds. And now the water's come up. The fish, not to say that they're not there, they may be there, but when you throw up into it and bring it through the weeds, you spook the fish, and they're back down here. They're in the 5 and 6 and 7 foot range, and some now are even going deeper. I understand now they're going on down there.
Yeah, it just has not been what people thought it was going to be with those
No.
when that water came over the top of those weeds.
But welcome to Tennessee. That's just the way it is here. But we hope that helps you. All right. Well, a lot of great calls. Thank you so much for those calls, and we hope that we helped everybody. We missed one. He wasn't there, but let's get back to talking about the rods, Bill. Now? I'm a soft plastics guy. You know, I love the worms. I love the creature baits, the beavers. I even like the shaky head. What are my rod choices on that, and what do you suggest?
Shaky heads, I'm not much for a spinning rod myself. Now that's my but that is the rod to use for shaky head fishing.
Yeah.
And we make some great actions
you
throughout
make
the
some great
spectrum.
ones. Yes.
I mean, we've got everything, and our APX is obviously our flagship rods. I mean, there's 41 actions.
That's right.
And 41 different rods in the APX series alone, which is a lot of rods. I mean, we've got everything from Tennessee handles.
I just love going to your house. Did I ever tell you that? I love going to his house. I love going to his house.
What about a jig? I know a lot of guys that love to jig fish. I do too. You do too.
Yeah.
The 7 foot, the 7 foot heavy, and the 7 foot extra heavy are the two that just heavy. Yes.
Okay.
Now, what he means by heavy is the action.
Those are the specific actions.
That's the action.
But that does
not that the rod is heavy.
Well, no, not heavy, but does that mean stiff?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, it's got a stiffer tip.
And the reason for that is jig fishing. You're flipping it and generally throwing it, and you're usually having more. The weight is a half ounce. To a 1 ounce jig, you're throwing and pitching, and you want to be able to get backbone. You want to turn that fish out of whatever.
I'll tell you something else.
The closer the quarter, the heavier the rod is what you're looking for.
When I'm doing it and I hold it like this a little bit, I can feel it in here when something touches it.
Yeah.
Just by taking my fingers and doing that. I saw Hugh do that one time, and I thought, I'll try that. And then I could really feel it better, because sometimes I couldn't feel if it was the bottom or me.
And a lot of times the rod transmits really well for a couple different reasons. Obviously, the lighter the rod, which is one of the things that with the Elite Series, we took away the foregrip. It doesn't have cork on the front. We split the grip in the back, which
takes a little weight off.
Anytime you lighten the rod, it makes it easier to feel. The other thing is these tungsten or titanium oxide guides. Okay. They're very, very hard, and they're very durable. They transmit really well. When your line's sitting on that and you get a bite, it shoots it right down the rod. And it does a very good job of sending that. No, but they're very expensive guides.
Have you ever thought about putting right back there some kind of cushion where you don't bruise yourself?
Don't bruise your ribs.
Set that hook.
We'll get you a pillow.
We'll get you.
We'll wrap a little pillow.
You have big bruises on you.
And the more
he likes his big bruises.
Yeah, the more I got, the more money I made.
That's right. Yeah. Bill, a lot of people are going to braid and using fluorocarbon leaders, 5 and 6 foot leaders on braided line. And you and I have a great friend in Chris Snow, and I'm going to tell you something. Chris Snow will make a believer out of you on using braid on everything from watching him. He feels the slightest. Braid helps you feel.
Absolutely.
But he uses all pro rods. He's never had a problem. But I do know other guys that are out there fishing trying to switch over to braid that are having lots of problems with their guides. Can you help us out and tell us what are they doing?
Well, the guides, there's different guides on different grades of rods. If you're, the generally cost is, you know, you have so much in the blank, so much in the number of guides and the type of guides. You can go to some really expensive guides like these. You won't wear those guides out with braid. You can run the braid through that all you want.
But like a ceramic?
Ceramic is not so good for braid.
Not for braid.
Yeah, you'll start to wear, if you repeatedly are casting and retrieving with braid through ceramic, it's not going to last real long.
The braid won't, or
the eyes.
The eyes won't.
The braid will be fine. The braid's going to be fine.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go now to do our tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is being brought to you by Interstate Batteries of Music City, located at 3729 Highway 109 North in Lebanon, Tennessee, home of your alternative power source. All right, we're going to have Chris Woods on here in either next week or the week after. We're trying to make plans to get Chris on the show. Help us out with our batteries, because a lot of people have decided to kind of put the boats up and go hunting for the rest of the season. We want to help you with being able to keep those batteries hot when you need them back in the spring. But this week's tip is, hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, when you take those kids out this weekend, the hunt's not about the grown-ups. Remember, the hunt's about the kids, okay? And deer hunting is one of the hardest things to get a kid to sit through. So make it interesting. Carry your iPhones, your smartphones, whatever. Let them play with it. Let them play a game. Let them be interested into it. Don't make them sit there and be still and watch, because you'll lose them. Let's let the kids enjoy it. Let them grow into it. I promise you'll make a hunting partner for life if you'll just let them ease into it. Don't be hardcore on them. Just let them ease into it, and I promise you'll have a hunting partner for life. Hey, we got to go pay some more bills around here. So if you don't mind, let's go visit some of our sponsors, and we'll be right back with a great recipe from our one and only legs over there, Joy. We'll be right back with more Southern Woods and Waters. This segment is being brought to you by Advanced Chiropractic, where we help America feel great, one spine at a time.
This week's recipe of the week is being brought to you by Broker Headquarters Group. Let our team in Camo help you with all of your real estate needs.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And Joy, you've done it again. This is actually a kind of a holiday type dish, because we're coming up on, I mean, Halloween's right around the corner, but right after that's Thanksgiving.
Well, a lot of people have pumpkin this time of year, so I've been trying to do some things with some pumpkin.
Yeah, jack-o'-lanterns, and we got to do something with the insides.
Yeah. And we have Bible class on Tuesday nights at Joy Church. So I took these last night, and because they're healthy. They really are healthy. But it is pumpkin puree.
Okay.
And then the recipe called for, and y'all know me by now, I change everything around, cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg and all this. I just got the pumpkin spice mix. And I just put that in there, whatever it said. We just dumped that in there, and that was good. And then it has brown sugar in it. And Bill knew what it was, and Hugh and I were going all over Kroger's and everything and asking everybody.
Google it, Google it.
Yeah, thank goodness I have my iPad. And what is it?
It's dulce de leche, and it's a caramelized sweet condensed.
Yeah, it's in the sweetened condensed milk part, but I'm telling you, Hugh and I were eating like the cake. It is so
I was eating it by like 2 spoons for the mix,
Dr.
1
Fisher,
spoon
don't
for me.
listen to it. He didn't eat it, really. Pure sugar, but golly, it's caramelized, sweetened condensed milk or something. It is so good.
It is.
And then it has butter and milk and vanilla extract, and they're the same as the no-bake chocolate oatmeal cookies, except they're made with pumpkin, and they have a pumpkin spice, and they're really healthy for you. Until I put all that chocolate on the top.
Yeah, we put it.
That's for you.
She dolled it up with white chocolate, so.
But you can use yogurt if you want to. You don't have to.
This is a man show. We don't use yogurt here.
Coconut. You can put coconut in it.
Coconut's iffy. Now put some M&Ms on that thing. We got us a deal.
That's not healthy. Well, maybe the chocolate ones are. But anyway, it's easy to do. It's a no-bake. We had fun making it. Everybody at
It looks
I've had
good.
him in on it.
I don't think it's going to make it much longer.
It's not. It's
I'll
not.
let him stir it.
Well, Joy, you can see this recipe along with many, many others on our website, southernwoodsandwaters.com. Go to that, and you'll have this up. Is it up already, or
Well,
you got to do it tomorrow? Or?
Phil's helping us, our webmaster, and getting your blog to where it's
Yep.
coming up. You're
We're
putting it
gonna have
on,
that.
but it's not coming
coming
up or
up.
something. I don't know what's wrong, but he's working on
We're
it.
having technical difficulties, Houston, but
Yeah.
we'll get it worked out. But anyway, go to our website. Also, go to our website and enter to win a pair of Amphibia sunglasses. And also, don't forget, you got to go to Famous Dave's, so you might as well put $5 on me and go ahead and print off that $5 coupon to go to Famous Dave's.
And the kids coloring
the
contest?
kids coloring contest. We need some kids on there to do the coloring contest, and we're going to do some other things here. Not too long. We're working on a plan for the kiddies out there to get you more involved.
Yeah.
But we got to realize that kids are our future.
Absolutely.
The future of the sport, the future of all sports, really is in our youth.
Who's your hunting
Yep.
partner?
Yeah, Willie.
Willie.
Willie's,
And
what,
speaking of the
16?
kids, Kentucky has officially made the fishing a high school sport,
Yes, they have.
varsity sport.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yep. So
Kentucky.
we're looking. We are going to
All
sponsor
the high schools,
a
right?
couple of it'll be an option for them to have that as a high school
As a high school sport.
Yes, sport.
And
Yep.
Tennessee ought to be part of that.
I think, and there's a couple different things that are happening. I think the FLW is going to do some things to help with the insurance and stuff of it, and there's a lot of momentum behind it. We're going to sponsor some of the teams.
Oh, good.
All Pro is, and a lot of excitement around it.
Hey, we got some great colleges right here in Tennessee too that are already doing it. We got one of those college members is coming to be on the show here not too long from now, and we're going to be talking with him. And really, I want to know, what interests them and what got them started in it as a young age. And his story, I already know his story. His dad got him involved. So it's great that families hunt together, fish together, because you never know what it's going to lead up to later down the road. But fishing is officially here.
Yes.
Hugh, I'd love for some of our viewers to email us, contact us, and let us know if you have any ideas. We've been working hard on this. The way Hugh and I met 20 years ago, he was a master instructor at a Hunter Ed, and I took my niece to Hunter Ed because my brother had to work. And I met him.
Bill's going to
And
have
there's
to
so-
scrape
and
the
there-
bottom of
and
the
there's
ball to get him.
And there's so many good people in the outdoor
know,
community
I
and
know.
hunting
Oh, yeah.
and fishing, and
We need
and
some
there's just-
ideas
yes.
and some support and
Lot of
get
wonderful
this
people.
thing going.
All right, hey, we got our giveaway here, and let me tell you what it is, because I showed it on the show. Was it last week or the
Yeah.
week before? But this is Otter Creek. Otter Creek has come out with a men's type of shampoo, body wash, and now this isn't for you to put this on and go hunt with, because this has got some smell good on it. So
You
you
go
don't
out
need to be
dancing
doing
or-
that. But it's kind of weird the way they did it. It's all camouflage and everything. So it's for the outdoorsy kind of guy that wants to smell like a birch tree or, something like that. Or I guess you
Wants to
want
take
to
legs off.
Sasquatch.
Yes, he did.
But
smell
be
it?
the fifth caller, 737-7767. We got a great little gift pack right here for you to try at your house. So hurry back to more of Southern Woods and Waters. Yeah, this is good. This calendar of the week is being brought to you by Drycon Carpet Cleaning. Give us a call or visit us online at drycon.com. All right, welcome back. And what we have is this weekend is youth only in Tennessee. So Saturday morning, starting at 30 minutes before legal sunrise,
I'll
starts
have
the
one,
youth.
He'll have another, and you. Well, of course, Willie hunts by himself.
Well, he's 17 now.
Yeah,
so
Willie's 17.
He's over that age.
Yeah.
What happened?
He grew up
A
fast.
year.
Yeah.
A year
That was a
happened.
year,
A
man.
lot of
But take those kids out there and let them have a great time
Absolutely.
this weekend, and let it be about them. I mean,
Absolutely.
if they get really really bored and say they want to go, just stop and go. You might come back 2 hours later. You just never know. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, what I saw today, bucks chasing does this morning.
In Hendersonville.
Real early in Hendersonville. So if they're happening in Hendersonville, they're happening everywhere.
Yep.
So you ought to take some of those scents out there and play with those deer a little bit. Try to equal or give the kids a little bit better odds than usual, and let them try if they can get them a nice buck this weekend. Now, don't try and let them get a really big one, because they'll be ruined for life.
Well,
They'll be like, I can't do any better now.
sometimes
But-
we take a little blanket.
Yeah,
and then
let
we
them
let them
sleep.
lay down.
Let them take a nap. 'Cause
Take a nap. And
you get them up
you
at
watch.
3:30,
Yeah.
quarter to 4.
Yeah.
Get them out there.
Watch.
I know it's.
Yeah.
You know,
He's a head knocker himself.
I look like I'm bobbing for Jesus all the time when I'm like that, but still, you know, it's early in the morning. Let it be about them, and that's going to be fun this weekend. And November 3rd opens up Tennessee Muzzleloader. So we got 3 weekends and 2 sets of weekdays that we can hunt the muzzleloader. So that begins November 3rd. The day after that is archery season till that Saturday, and then it starts modern gun season. And then
gotta
the
get
next
my
weekend.
honeydew list done.
Hey, the next
There you
weekend
go. Yeah,
is
me too.
Thanksgiving.
Well, we'll get our honeydew list
Yeah,
done so we
yeah.
can go hunting.
Mine's done. Mine's done.
Who
I'm
won
going
it? Who won your prize?
Michelle Griffith won the prize from Tennessee Ridge.
Wow.
Tennessee Ridge. That's the second time we've had some good people from Tennessee Ridge that
Got good
call
people
in.
there.
I mean, they're fast dollars. You saw how fast it goes. I mean,
Yeah,
it goes
goes
quick.
quick.
So Tennessee Ridge has got the fastest fingers in all of Tennessee tonight. So good job, Michelle. We appreciate you very much. Got a great rig package for you here. So come on by and get that. Hey, Bill, we just got like a minute left, but All Pro Rods, they can go to allprorods.com.
Mm-hmm.
You have lots of dealers out there.
Absolutely.
They can also go through Southern Woods and Waters, and also I have a link to All Pro Rods. But if you have not tried an All Pro rod, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, you do not know what you're missing. And just get one. Just get one and try it. And I bet money on it'll be your favorite rod of all time.
Or get a hand-me-down like I get. They're wonderful.
That's right. You get a hand-me-down.
They're good.
They're
Bill,
good.
thank you so much for.
You're welcome.
Bill's been
Thank
a
you.
long-time sponsor of the show too,
And a friend for how many
and a
years?
friend for
Forever.
I've known him
20 years, yeah.
since Moby Dick was a minnow.
I don't know. He was that small, but
yeah, he was. He was. Hey, but we appreciate. Wear those personal flotation devices if you're going out on a lake. If you're going up a tree, wear that fall restraint belt. But make sure you wear all of this orange this weekend. Hope you have fun. We'll see you next week right here on More.